Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech Weekend Edition. This week was a perfect example of tech's wild ride. On one hand, we've got giants promising us these incredibly smart devices, but on the other, we're seeing the messy, complicated reality when ambition meets the real world. We're going to unpack 5 stories that show this incredible contrast. And that question, that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? We're seeing these unbelievable leaps in AI that promise to make everything smarter, faster, better. But at the very same time, we're seeing what happens when that same ambition hits the pavement, sometimes literally. So let's get into it. First up, a massive leap forward from Apple. They just unveiled their new M5 chip, and let me tell you, this is not just some minor speed bump. This is a complete rethink of how artificial intelligence is going to work on the devices we use every single day. Let's just start with this number because, wow, the M5 is delivering a 4-fold increase in peak AI performance over the M4. I mean, that is not just an update, folks. That's a generational leap that's going to unlock brand new capabilities right there on your device. So, how in the world did they pull off that 4-fold leap? Well, it's all about how these specs work together. We're looking at a totally new GPU architecture where every single core has its own neural accelerator. You add in a beefed-up neural engine and way more memory bandwidth, and what you get is a chip that's been designed from the ground up to be an absolute AI powerhouse. So, what does this actually mean for you? The big deal here is that powerful AI isn't stuck up in the cloud anymore. The M5 lets these complex AI models run directly on your device. And that means faster responses, way better privacy because your data never has to leave your machine, and smart features that work even when you're offline. It's a true game changer. Okay, so let's shift gears completely. We're going from the super polished, clean world of Apple's silicon to, well, the much grittier, messier reality of building ambitious infrastructure. We're turning our attention to Elon Musk's Boring Company. And get this number, in Las Vegas, where the Boring Company is digging its Loop transit system, Nevada regulators have hit them with nearly 800 environmental violations. That's not a typo. We're talking everything from digging without the right approvals to spilling untreated waste. And this, right here, this really gets to the core philosophy at play. Musk has been super vocal about his preference for just acting first and dealing with the fines later, rather than getting bogged down in what he sees as lengthy approvals. This whole situation in Vegas, it seems to be a direct application of that thinking. So what are the actual consequences? Well, while the company could have been on the hook for over $3 million in fines, regulators are proposing a penalty of just under $250,000. You gotta ask, right? Is a fine like that a real deterrent, or is it just another line item in the budget for a company of this scale? All right, staying in the world of Musk's ventures, we're moving from underground to right on the road. Tesla's highly publicized full self-driving system is now under an official investigation by the U.S. federal government. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA, has launched what they call a preliminary evaluation. Now, don't let the name fool you. This isn't just a quick look-see. It's a full-blown, formal investigation into whether Tesla's full self-driving system has defects that could cause it to break traffic laws. And some of these reports, they're pretty concerning. The investigation is digging into dozens of incidents, including cars allegedly blowing through red lights, ignoring turn-only lanes, and in some cases, even trying to turn the wrong way. And it's really important to note that injuries were reported in several of those crashes involving FSD. This whole thing really just throws a spotlight on the tension between a product's name, full self-driving, and what it actually is, which is an advanced driver assistance system that still needs constant human supervision. This investigation could set a major precedent for how these technologies are developed and regulated from here on out. Okay, now for a story that probably hits a little closer to home for a whole lot of us. As of this week, the official countdown has begun for one of the most widely used operating systems on the planet, Windows 10. So here's the deal. As of October 14th, 2025, Microsoft is officially cutting off the free security updates for Windows 10. Now, the OS will still work, but it won't be patched for any new security threats unless you're willing to open your wallet. Which, leads to a really serious question for the millions of people whose computers just can't upgrade to Windows 11. Without those security updates, your PC becomes more and more vulnerable to attacks with each passing day. So what do? Well, you've basically got a few paths. You can bite the bullet and buy a new PC that runs Windows 11, or maybe switch to a different operating system altogether. The other option is to stick with Windows 10 and either pay Microsoft to keep it protected, or just accept the risks of using an unsupported OS. And yup, that paid protection now has a price tag. The extended security updates will set you back about $30 for the first year. This is a totally new strategy for Microsoft, basically turning security for older PCs into a subscription service for consumers. And for our last story, we're diving into a vision of the future that's, well, it's either brilliant or bizarre or maybe a little bit of both. The phone company Honor has just unveiled a concept that completely rethinks what a smartphone even is. Okay, so picture this. It's called the Honor Robot Phone. The big idea is that the camera isn't just a static lens anymore. No, it's on this motorized gimbal that can pop out, spin around, and move all on its own. The whole goal is for the phone to autonomously track you, follow you around, and interact with the world in a way no phone ever has. And just listen to how Honor describes this thing. They're not calling it a tool. They're calling it an emotional companion. A device that uses AI to sense and adapt, supposedly enriching our lives with love, joy, and wisdom. I mean, that's a pretty big promise for a piece of hardware, right? Now look, whether this exact phone ever sees the light of day, that's not really the point. What's so interesting is the idea behind it. This shift from our phones being these passive windows we look through to them becoming active participants in our lives. It's a wild concept that really pushes the boundaries. And that, right there, brings us to our final thought for the week, a question that kind of ties all of these stories together. From an AI brain on a tiny chip, to autonomous systems making mistakes on our roads, to a phone that wants to be our best friend. All of it forces us to ask, who's really in control here? Is it us, the user? Is it the people who create it? Or is the code itself starting to call the shots? Definitely something to chew on. If you enjoyed the episode, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.